wall vacuum, but I mean, I think they at least showed a framework for how you can try to play against VP. I think IG need to follow that.
All right, let's see what they do in game number 2. Draft is up and running, and it's Virtus.pro with first pick again.
Interesting.
I mean, it's to pick Magnus.
Darkseid's in pool. I think IG should take it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised VP went for the Magnus, to be honest. I thought they were going to first pick Darkseid for sure. I guess it's because I think
it's a block pick as well, you know? It's like they take Darkseid and then IG get the Magnus, whereas they probably throw it in their head.
Yeah,
we can take Magnus and they'll take Omni, and that's good for us.
I think part of it is that Slaughter's also banned, and that's our favorite combo with the...
Warlock's a great team fight. I mean, that helps you do a lot.
I think IG has identified the weakness. We'll see a lot better game out of them. I also think I was way too hasty in saying they should pick Darkseid because I think they are assuming VP won't pick it now because they have the Magnus. That being said, no one does play the Magnus mid. He plays it very, very well.
Yep.
And maybe IG feel like they could sneak in the second phase too. It's not bad to have like Sand King Darkseid. It's a good VAC combo.
Oh, they used one reserve time second this time. Just one.
This draft seems flipped a bit, huh?
Yeah, I was about to say this looks like an IG draft. This Magnus Juggernaut strong combo that we've seen IG play at XXS, Burning. Those two guys just play those heroes so well.
Yeah. On the other hand, it is also... You see, the thing about these two teams is I think VP has like the lowest games and IG has the most games. Because VP has like a few games, but there's some Captain's Draft tournament, which, I mean, the tournament's fun and it's fun to watch, but it's not the same as Captain's Mode.
Their only real tournament was the qualifiers.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. Like their internet went out for DAC, so you don't even have that information. And I like Juggernaut because when you play against Sand King, the way that Sand King wins the lane is like a war of attrition. He just keeps caustic the wave, pushing it in. If you cannot apply some kill throw on the hero, he is going to win the lane and pressure you hard. Juggernaut has Blade Fury, one of the best spells at killing him. And he also has Healing Ward, which mitigates a lot of the damage from Warlock and Sand King in the fights. It's just a solid pick.
So once again, we've gone through first phase ban, first phase picks in record time. Hope Nahaz is keeping an eye on how quickly these picks have been done. He can come up with some averages or something. I'm sure Virtus.pro have broken all of them. But the ban's causing some grief for IG here, Gods.
Yeah, I wonder whether they're probably deciding which kind of player to maybe focus some of their bans on. Are there any like worrisome mids, or do you want to maybe target Lil perhaps with some of his 4th position heroes? But the CM probably one of the heroes that stands out. CM Jug, they got Phoenix, so they do target some of the supports.
I honestly feel like they went behind the stage after their loss and they're like, team fight, guys. Team fight. If we cannot team fight, we cannot win.
Yeah.
So VP with
pick good team fight.
Insta Axe ban.
That's the Jug counter pick in a lot of ways.
Fairly good versus Magnus too. You get the call off with the Blade Mill versus Empower, basically doing 50% extra damage.
Yeah. And banning that Phoenix out, they saw how strong that was last game. It looks like they don't want to face it again. I don't know if Lil played particularly well or had a huge impact just because like so many other heroes did so much. But, you know, they're definitely looking out for that big team fight presence.
To be honest, I think Lil did everything he could that game. Like, I thought in particular, I want to give him a shout out for his item build. Because he went pipe on Phoenix, which is very irregular, but it was perfect that game. They even went Grease on Madness. They managed to identify that IG lacked damage. And when you identify those things in the game, it sort of shows how they're thinking, what we can expect out of them. They're adapting to the enemy in the game, and that's always a good sign.
The support band out, CM gone.
I think it's a good ban. Magnus was disgustingly overpowered at DAC. CM makes him the same hero he was at DAC. It's just a mana nurse. I don't think the BAT really mattered. So also roots are good for Sand King, and I think it's underrated to like just have an attack speed slow against the Warlock. Because that Golem does a lot of damage, and if you get like the Nova and the Crystal Maiden ulti on it, you're reducing its damage by 80%.
They've already removed 2 of Virtus.pro's top 3 picks at the Kiev Major in the bans. The other one is Magnus, which they've picked. Where do IG go next?
If I was IG, I would probably pick my carry here. I mean, it's a bit iffy versus VP because the Magnus could still be offlane, could still be mid, but they go back for the Boca Ricky.
Yeah.
To be honest, the fact they're picking teamfight and they're like still confident, even though the Ricky lost, he didn't have that much impact. I think it's a pretty good mentality coming in from IG this game. They're not scared. They're not. They think they've identified their weakness and they think they know how to solve it. That's always a good thing. I think VP picks their support that counters the Ricky's presence on the map. Generally, last game they had the Spirit Breaker for that. Generally, you can pick anything that can sort of have a mobility spell and a dust in the early game. So if Ricky shows somewhere, you can come in from fog, dust him, and get the kill. Disruptor's another good one. Disruptor's not the Ricky counter pick actually. It'll be their next hero, but still a solid VP hero. I think they've been running this hero since their inception. These 5 players, and they're. I want to say they're the best team at running it. They've always made that Disruptor look scary. To be honest, CIS teams have made Disruptor look scary for like the last 3 years. It's like a CIS classic.
They used to run it all the time with the Slada. Like that was back when Slada was more an offlaner, but
yeah,
they used the vision with the glimpse incredibly well.
I mean,
the team fight combo.
And we saw yesterday against VGJ how strong that hero was. You know, we talk about team fight. He brings team fight and pick off, which is kind of one of those unique things. You just got to make sure you get levels on him.
Sven against Jug. Warcry, try and tank your way through an Omni Slash. Tank your way through his damage output.
It's honestly a weird matchup, just because Sven is good against Juggernaut in a lot of ways, but Juggernaut's also a hero where if you get to the Diffusal, you can purge off this Warcry, and then Sven becomes very vulnerable. Traditionally, it's been Sven favored. I think with the Magnus, it actually becomes not bad for Juggernaut at all. You get the Skadi, you also can just like lock down the Sven, but IG clearly have an idea with the Sven, and they had to pick something that wasn't too vulnerable to other heroes because they want to prepare for this last pick mid, get something that wins them the game here. They just need a solid hero for their one position.
Nothing new from Virtus.pro this time around. They had 3 brand new non-played heroes in the first draft that they hadn't played in Kiev, which takes their total to 34 different heroes played.
I wonder if there's a specific mid they really value, like the TA is the first that comes to mind because of how effective it's been, that they just want to pick now and prevent it getting banned.
On VP?
Yeah, VP.
Oh, okay. I think they're...
I mean, it doesn't really... Like here, you may as well pick your mid now so it doesn't get banned.
As first pick, it's like you pick whatever hero you think will get banned as your 4th hero because the bans are next, and then you have to pick out of the phase anyway, so they're going to counter pick you.
So you could get the Spirit Break if you valued it more, but...
Yeah, exactly. So I think they're deciding, do we have more than one Ricky counter? Wisp is actually a Ricky counter. He's one of those heroes who can tether in and carry a dust, and it's very scary for Ricky. Because he also heals up the hero. So like you can be on a Disruptor. Disruptor is 5 HP, Wisp tethers in, heals him up, and suddenly you're the one who's dying.
Feels like IG don't like playing against the Wisp either.
It's a very annoying hero to play against, even when you don't think a team can run it that well, and VP can run it extremely well. So it just changes how the game's played. I expect a Tinker ban out from VP. I think that's a hero that sort of ties out IG's lineup together.
And it's the OP's, I think, most played hero, like in pubs and stuff.
Wow. He does play a phenomenal Tinker. So.
Just on the back of while we wait for these last 2 bans in the round, VP are now 5 for 5 with Magnus at the Kiev Major.
Pretty good hero.
This
they
is
do run it
game
well.
6.
Yeah. And they have additional value on the hero just because they run it in multiple roles. We're approaching their 5th pick, and we don't know for sure where that Magnus is going. I like the sniper ban from IG. Look at pub win rates. I know I'd say it a lot, and people probably go like, who cares about pubs? But honestly, like, pub win rates with a high sample size are largely more indicative of how strong hero matchups are in pro games.
You think looking at like the highest level gameplay there and the highest level ranked pubs is like where you're going to get the best indication on what heroes are going to be strong in this meta?
I mean, I think like it'll probably start like 5K. They'll have like a good enough basic idea of how hero matchups go. Like, so it's good enough for me. I've rarely found them to be wrong. There are some heroes where it's a bit weird. I think VP, I was going to say the sniper pick is one of the highest against Sven, just because he stands so far back. He's hitting a Sven with a Scott. It's really hard to jump him.
If you jump him, he like pikes away maybe even.
Yeah, you got the Disruptor to, help you keep up, and then just Magnus can come in and initiate. Lots of different options.
I'd like to see a tower hitter out of VP this game. I think it's a little bit hard for Juggernaut to hit tower.
There's that TA.
Good pick. Very good versus Sven. I think he's up there as well. It's good against Sven for multiple reasons. It's a hero that you can't burst with your jump, blink, Stormbolt ulti. He also, the biggest reason though is I think the traps. you'll put traps on Sven's Ancients. You can see when Sven wants to do those stacks, you can counter him there. And to be honest, you can out-farm a Sven. He's one of the few heroes that does that. We saw Noah with 200 CS at 20 minutes last time, so.
They are 2 out of 2 with TA, 2 out of 2 with the Wisp, and 5 out of 5 with the Magnus Virtus.pro. That's a scary VP lineup.
I think this is the mid IG likely kind of prioritize and wanted. That's why they banned the sniper over the TA, probably because they thought they could get a good matchup with the Ember. But still a tough one.
Very tough. Also tough is predictions.
Yes.
Makes it a lot harder with that draft, doesn't it?
I can go first if you want.
Sure.
I like it. A volunteer steps up.
I think VP are going to dismantle IG this game. I think what's going to happen is Ricky's going to try to gank mid, the West's going to TP in, heal up the TA, no one's going to go ham, and I think it's a very hard Sven game to play. They have something through BKB ready, they have heroes that are hard to jump, and they have a relocate save for him.
Okay,
go
so VP.
Yeah.
VP for Owie, okay. Conrad?
I'm going Virtus.pro as well. While they, I think I look at IG's lineup and I think maybe they have a really strong team fight. I just think VP, they win the late game here, and I think their team fight is not that much weaker than IG's here.
Okay.
I'm like kind of torn.
We've given you extra time this time as well.
I see IG, I've seen what they can do with these heroes, but I fully behind the logic Kurt's bringing out. We'll go with VP as well.
All right, so we've cursed VP.
Yep.
IG's going to win this game. 100%.
Can't wait for game 3.
What have you all done? There is something to be said for this Commonwealth gang of thugs that we've got here on the panel. Have they cursed VP? Let's find out as we head into game 2. Are they one game away right now from a grand final place? Can they nail it? Let's find out with Cinderin and Capitalist.
Virtus.pro are currently one game away from beating IG in the semifinals and going into the grand finals of the Kiev Major, a dream for the CIS region. But can they actually sweep them here in a game 2? We have very similar lineups, I feel like, Cinderin, at least when it comes to style anyway.
I would kind of argue that this is very different for IG, at least.
True.
Compared to the previous game. So the thing that's the change up here is, yes, they're running their Ricky again, and they're running Q on one of his standard supports, but the very big difference is the pick order for IG going into this draft, they didn't first face Ricky. And I think the reason is they were like, okay, in this game we don't want to lose and not having enough team fight. So they first pick Warlock and Sand King. And knowing for VP that this Sand King could be played by both XXS and Boboka, they don't know exactly what the role is going to be until the Ricky pick. So this time they have more team fight. As far as VP goes, I would agree this is more similar to what we've seen from them in general, like the early aggression with this Disruptor and IO support duo that they're going to run this time. The TA for no one we've seen before, they run their standard Magnus. This time it will be a Juggernaut combined with it for Ramses, but I don't know. To me, this game will be very different from the last one simply because of IG's ability to team fight and the type of carry that they've chosen for it.
Oh, there's certainly no way that IG are going to be shying away from engagements like they did in game number 1, right? They've got, I mean, they doubled down on the team fight with the Warlock Sand King opening. That was pretty crazy. And then they've got a Sven, which is obviously going to be much more focused on it being able to hit that timing window. You got BKB. You want to overwhelm the enemy and then go for that push rather than Morphling split push style. VP, though, probably similar in looking to just kind of control the game and farm up on all 3 cores. As it did seem like it worked out very well against IG's style in game number 1.
Yeah, this time VP needs to be paying a lot of attention to just the flat-out fighting potential of IG. I like IG's lineup more in this game of how well-rounded it is. I think last game, as you said, they kind of had to shy away from fights because with the early game VP had the type of execution that ID needed to land in those fights was simply too difficult. This time around they have way more options. They have like 4 heroes that can all engage for each other. Sven with a Blink, Ricky with Smoke Cloud, the Sand King with a Blink Dagger, Ember's Light Chains. They have follow-up. All of the heroes also have follow-up. Like, it's such a nice lineup to just look at. When you look at the picks, you feel like, okay, you can totally see what the point is. You have good late game, good lanes. Just very well-rounded. Probably one of the most well-rounded lineups of the entire tournament, to be honest. I really like their picks in this game, but we've seen IO lineups just trash the lanes so hard that it didn't even matter. I don't think VP will manage to do that this time around, though.
Yeah, Bulbaka is certainly going to be able to offset the power of the Wisp quite a bit. He's been trailing Lil this whole entire time, so there's not going to be any, say, jungling shenanigans. He's actually cornered the Courier. And we'll see how long VP are willing to hold this Courier under the tier 2. If they're going to wait all the way to the 3-minute mark, or if they get fooled into thinking it's safe. XXS does have a Burrow Strike, so he should be fine here. He's got the Warlock behind him. This is a big change, right, is that they have this aggro dual lane that I can actually put a lot of pressure onto the safe lane Juggernaut when the supports are away.
We've seen these dual lane Warlocks quite a bit, generally with Legion. Sand King, however, is also a pretty strong laner against melee core if you do manage to sustain, and the VP support duo just isn't that good early on in putting in massive amounts of harassment.
Yeah, Wisp doesn't really want to be in that tri-lane all the time, right?
No.
A Disruptor is known to be probably one of the weaker supports out there when it comes to the laning phase and being able to contest in 2v2 actions. So that leaves our mid lane where no one as the Templar Assassin matching up against OP's Ember Spirit. Now, we've seen this 1v1 a number of times. In fact, going back to older Dota, we actually saw this quite a bit. How do you think this 1v1 really fares by itself in the newer Dota, and then obviously with the Wisp and Bulbaka's Riki involved?
In isolation, this lane is pretty even. I think there's like these timings for both players in lane where Ember is stronger when Flame Guard is up. When it's not, he's pretty weak, can't really do anything to TA. So you're playing around each other's cooldowns. You want to use the Flame Guard against Refraction, and on the contrary, you want to use Refraction when Flame Guard is on cooldown. And as a result, you generally end up just both pushing the waves. Flame Guard pushes, then Sideblades pushes back, and you just play around that. Generally, if we see a kill in the lane, it favors the Ember. You need to have a lot of Sideblades in a row to put up pressure as the TA. But the nice thing about TA is that you're actually okay. As long as you're both farming great, you know that you're going to get the bigger farm in the jungle compared to your opponent in the lane.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more pressure on Ember Spirit to make kills happen, not just on the Templar Assassin, but immediately following. And there's, of course, a big difference in our two supports. The Riki does offer an opportunity for kills, where Wisp usually is just going to be preventing the death of our mid laner. But Bulbaka has been pretty solidly sitting up there at the top lane for the most part. This is leaving a 1v1 for Burning, once again, against Pasha's Magnus. I felt like this Sven was such a good pickup. We don't see too much Sven right now, but being matched up against, nice TP out by Solo, but being matched up against a Juggernaut, Magnus, I feel like it's actually Magnus. I'm not even sure Magnus lineups are really all that good against Sven. And then a Templar Assassin as well. Feels like this armor from the Sven is going to be super valued.
It's a very good armor game. At the same time, though, VP have two heroes that could go. Oh, wow.
P goes down in the mid lane. Lil comes in with a double damage. And OP, it looks like he kind of pushed himself forward, thinking it was one of those Flame Guard timings where he could push out the wave, but gets turned around real quickly.
Right, to finish off on the Sven thing, the armor is very good, but VP do have two diffusal carriers in their lineup, so they definitely can itemize around it. But there will be a nice timing for Burning, more than likely. And I think just looking at the game, if you will focus so much on this, like it is going to be a very important armor game, but more important than anything is just going to be like who gets the jump. And
sure.
Once again, I do really like IG's option to just jump in so many ways. VP barely getting out of that one is Q. That was super close. Not get fielded in.
So that was a lot of abilities used there from VP, and all it takes is Warlock, a self-heal. And they can continue to keep that pressure on the lane, where our Sand King is seeing quite a large amount of success when it comes to CSing. He's 25-2 right now. Bulbaka is going to be scattered out here. He goes to the TP out again. No disables because we don't have level 3 for Solo. No glimpse means no TP cancel.
They have that information after seeing the kinetic field dropped earlier. So Bulbaka knows that is a play. Actually, the support lineups don't really have stuns.
Yeah.
I decide the Glimpse is the best stun that there is in this game for the supports until the Chaotic Offering. So mid lane, OP putting some pressure on no one, but no one is able to fight back here.
Again, no one always has the confidence that Lil's going to come and bail him out. That's exactly what happens here. No one turns pretty early because he knows Lil's going to be able to provide that extra bit of heal. Chases OP down. OP does not make the same mistake he made last time, though. Doesn't overextend himself.
And he will get the bounty rune at the very least. I don't think OP has had a rune yet. VP has played great rune controls. One of the big benefits of IO is the ability to rotate around nicely, and as we saw with the double damage rune, put them to use immediately. A lot of heroes get a rune and then you use half of the time of the rune to just rotate, but Io can just tether from 200 light years away.
Playing some efficiency games, popping his ultimate and being able to clear through the neutrals, push back the Magnus as well. So Burning, top of the network chart. OP, because he died earlier, is dwindling a little bit, but it looks like pretty much all 3 cores on both sides are kind of getting what they want out of this laning phase.
Yeah, it's very even.
Does that mean it favors in the end VP because the Wisp seems to be kind of getting a step ahead of all the other supports?
It's definitely good for VP. I think if they were losing the lane, it would have been a bigger disaster than if IG were. So with that in mind, it being even is okay. The Templar Assassin, I think, is most important for VP right now because it gives them access to the Roshan. Generally, if you see slow laning phases like this, that is one of the first big moments that has a big impact. Is either you Rosh or you find that team fight. The team fight for VP will be difficult to find, but they can force it at the pit if they want. Actually, they might see a rotation top now. XXS.
Commanded Field is in the right place. XXS really nicely dodged there with the Sandstorm. The dust just comes a little bit too late. They do have the glimpse back, but he's already received the heal. The damage over time was just not going to be enough from Ramses, and he had dropped quite low after he got into the tower.
Build from XXS. He's going hood first.
Yeah. I saw that queued up, and I was like, okay, maybe he's just, has that quick buy in case he dies or something like that. Just wants to be able to buy out if necessary, but no, he seems to be committing for it.
It makes him a very difficult kill for the support duo of VP. They do have some decent magic damage between Spirits and the Thunderstrike, and of course Juggernaut spin as well. So XXS will be way more confident. Has the great sustain in lane as well, of course.
I feel like there's less pressure on XXS to have the early Blink Dagger when you have a mid laner like Ember Spirit who kind of acts as initiator early on.
And not only him, there's multiple heroes, as we talked about previously, that can set up the Sand King. And in this game, I also don't think Epicenter is necessarily that important. I think just because of the massive amount of teamfight that they have, it's like the icing on the cake. You definitely do want to skill it and use it in the game. It's not like you're just going to ignore it, but there's a lot of other ways for IG to play around with it. In some games, it feels like you're playing Sand King and you almost need to hit the big epic to win the team fight. That's not a requirement here at all. If he does, it looks great and it's going to destroy VP, but more often than not in this type of game, it might be better to just get a good blink stun.
Yeah.
Or just a stun in general. If you're going hood first, you won't have the blink, obviously, until a bit later. We'll be queuing it up now, though.
Yeah, it really looks like you just get that first good stun, and there's so much follow-up from the rest of IG because all 5 of those heroes can initiate in some way. Even Warlock does have that chaotic offering to throw down.
Solo is in a lot of trouble. He has TP on cooldown. He's actually dead.
Yeah, he's going to be run down by OP pretty easily. Thought that maybe, venture out to that off lane while the Magnus is away. See if he can get some solo experience and pick up his level 6. Unfortunately, that's not the case. He's immediately shut down.
And at the same time, they're also putting good pressure up top here. IG have forced Ramses out of lane again. Seems once again to be something IG put a lot of emphasis on.
Do you really want to just TP boldly like that? XXS is in a good position to be able to dive the tower. They're going to try and chase him down, but the kinetic field is going to block out any further pursuit. Now he's going to be jumped on by Ramses. Pasha does manage to land the RP, but he's still very tanky thanks in part to the hood. Is going to be body blocked up, and it looks like the physical damage is barely going to be enough to finish him off. Virtus.pro, they used a lot to be able to claim that kill, but it was an important one. XXS is getting a lot out of his offlane.
He held the Sandstorm the whole time there. I think he was trying to bait an Omnislash and wanted to have it for that.
Yeah.
Ramses wisely just runs at him and hits him. He arguably could have Sandstormed immediately after the RP because I believe the Skura was used to... Actually, was it used to get in?
It was used to get close, yes.
Okay, so then they have no way of killing him apart from the secondary Blade Fury, but he already used it, or the Io Spirits. And I don't think any detection was available, so in hindsight can maybe buy a little bit more time there by just sitting in that Sandstorm, but was trying for the bigger play of getting away entirely. Didn't work out that time around.
Neutral time for VP. Using that Shrine, clearing through the Ancient stack. Lil's going to be able to farm up some of those other neutrals as well.
Just TA things.
Yeah, just TA things. Wisp things too, right? Wisp has gotten pretty good at jungling.
Yep. But so this is after farming a lot of jungle here. No one has created a bit of a gap to Sven of about 500. But I don't think there's been as much stacking going on for Burning. So that is the stacking advantage. And IG, they're already going to try to look for their first team fight here, or just a free tower.
Yeah, with that early Mask of Madness pickup, Burning, he just chunks him down. See as the glyph fades away. IG will have no problem taking this tower. VP not going to be contesting right now. They don't feel comfortable. After all, they're getting close on that Desolator for the Templar Assassin. The thing for me is, because IG have all this team fight, they also have great ways to be able to contest the Roshan, even if they get that early death. So I struggle to see whether or not VP is going to be able to actually pick up that early Aegis. That is sort of a requirement for their lineup. XXS is going to be glimpsed back here into the Static Storm. Does have that Hood of Defiance, but the physical damage from no one makes it a whole lot easier for them to be able to get that kill. Again, Q also going to be caught here. Pasha has been pretty on point with his rotations and excellent body blocking as well.
IG are maybe a bit out of position here. I'm not sure if Sand King had any business being in the Dire jungle at that point. They knew that VP had just been there. I believe they had spotted them on a ward previously. And maybe they were trying for a quick pick on Disruptor with a Sand King stun into ult, but I think it's impossible. Maybe wasn't expecting the Static Storm as well.
Yeah.
That could have caught them by surprise that Solo did find his level 6.
Yeah, after all, they cleared through. They got a bunch of experience out of those stacks. So
that was in the fog, I think, so they wouldn't have been able to see. And sometimes you don't see it, focusing on other things in the game.
And that would kind of make sense in his mind, right? The timeline of if they're not contesting this probably means they don't have those kind of team fight ultimates. So I'm kind of free to do whatever I want.
That is true. Well, let's gonna look a bit at Boboka, who has been fairly quiet this game on the Riki. He's been taking some time bottom to find his level 6. He has Phase Boots and Aquila, so hitting one of the earlier peaks of Riki in this game.
Smoke up from IG. See if they can surprise Ramses. Ramses sees the smoke pop, immediately pops that spin just in case. And IG, instead of getting the pick off that they were really hoping for, instead, they're going to try and push this tower. RVP going to contest this time around. OP, well, he may force it out of them. The jump in. Looks like they're going to be able to get the epicenter off onto Solo. Didn't have the Static Storm, but a nice relocate out from Lil. Saves his fellow support. Maybe VP can reinitiate. We'll see. They get a little bit of nuke damage coming out from Pasha there. Shockwave. Everyone's full healed up now by the healing ward. The tower, just a sliver of HP. IG, they no longer have that ultimate from Burning. They're going to glimpse it back into the Static Storm. Pasha tries to go for the skewer, misses, but they aren't going to be able to take out Burning. Now it's up to Ramses to try and come in and finish off OP. OP does a remnant, jump away. Unfortunately, the Omni Slash doesn't follow him in. OP still has some magic damage to deal with. The missed shot, no, it's not going to be enough. No one goes up for next. XXS in deep. Pasha once again, this big Rhinoceros, he's all over the body blocks. XXS fortunately did have the Sandstorm. It gives a little bit more of a space, but no one's there. Gets the Meld Strike. The ultimate chaotic offering drop far too late. That's going to be a huge waste. And even Boboka caught out inside the Sentry, trying to run him down with spin. Barely stays alive. Virtus.pro, they strike back hard against IG as they just kind of overextend themselves. They commit a little bit too much to taking that mid-tier 1 tower, even after they'd already kind of used everything.
That was so great defensive play by VP. The save from the IR relocate, first off. The reason IG want to go for this tower is that they know there's cooldown on RP, so they are looking at VP's lineup and they're like, they don't really have any good team fight without the RP. There is still the Static Storm though, and they're playing that one moment of opportunity that they have where the Sven backs off, they glimpse him back in, which starts the entire fight. If that glimpse doesn't come out, they just basically took a tower, right?
Yeah.
VP did defend it at the end of the day and get a good fight as a result of some great play from Solo once again here on the Disruptor. And now VP are hungry for Boboka here. If they can get a glimpse again. I don't see him. Dust
Throw
too
out
late.
the dust, but too far away.
Straight into Roche.
They certainly have the damage for it.
No Golem. No God Strength. It's a free Roche.
Yeah, this feels like game 1 all over again, where it's just IG have to realize they just can't contest. Not without their big team fight ultis. Those are all on cooldown. Now VP are actually going to smoke up. They go in deep. They manage to get the skewer back on Burning. What a play from Pasha. That opens up everything. VP are not going to be able to find any of the straggling supports, but they can immediately use this Aegis to start taking some objectives.
They're going to be building a really big advantage right now. these 2 deaths on Burning Sven are extremely costly. You slow down this hero so much with every kill. Big gap now for No One. 2,000 gold down to him. Everyone on VP is having a great game so far. And IG just haven't been able to set up these team fights that their lineup is so good at. I'm wondering if they're regretting getting this hood on the Sand King. The timing of the blink is delayed really, really hard because of his 3 deaths and the hood purchase. And once it comes online, it might just be too late. Like, VP are distancing themselves pretty well right now. It's not the biggest gold advantage by any means. It's just that No One has such a big one on himself that he can jump the backline and just kill, for example, the Warlock right away. And then it doesn't matter really that IG have superior team fight if it gets split up like that.
Yeah, if he actually picks up a BKB before IG are actually able to get the next team fight, it just seems like VP take the mid game entirely away from IG. And
they're putting on the pressure here. Bottom lane. Glyph is used. I think it's time to get out for OP.
Use the Remnant to jump away, and IG will start moving towards that mid tower that they brought so low earlier. But there is still a smoke up. There's plenty of members of VP that are still off the map, so they're still not sure about where they can actually push in. You can see Burning is just playing a lot safer.
Notice, by the way, notice that Lil hasn't used Relocate a single time aggressively. He's only used that 1 defensive one. I think it's a very good choice for VP to be a bit careful with aggressive Relocate simply because of the counterplay potential that the IG lineup has. Oh, Glimpse again.
There. Does manage to catch Q. He tries to get out of Static Storm, runs himself away, but is not going to be taken out. Maybe Lil can catch him, get him with the Wisp Balls, or the Urn. Either way, Q's going to fall. No response from IG. Once again, they just give up that hero. And okay, he actually takes out. OP picks him up.
Lil tried
Relocate
for the...
back.
I think Lil tried for that frame perfect TP there. I'm pretty sure he was trying to get out to base, didn't manage. And OP gets that grab. So a little something for him at least. It's actually, damn, that IO kill was 431 gold for Ember. That's quite a lot. Did he have a streak? He didn't have a streak. Why is he worth so much? It's only, oh, all right.
Decent net worth lead. Bobica finds a courier. That's a big one too.
As per usual. On his Ricky.
Dragonlance as well as the Manta recipe. Going to be delayed for Virtus.pro for the next 3 minutes. Still though, even all that, our Templar Assassin, 3K net worth lead over Burning. And this is a farming carry, right? This is a hero that's supposed to be contesting the top net worth, but just isn't. Burning does go for, I would say, what is a little bit more of an early game build with this Mask of Madness into SNY. So he's going to try and be an active core here.
Yeah. And here comes the smoke from IG. This is their biggest moment of the game so far. This play.
They lay down the ward. They're going to get some good vision preemptively, but a blink away from No One stops their initiation. Again, you have to wonder if XXS just was able to find that opening a little bit faster. Maybe the game could have been brought wide open for IG, but
it might have been a blessing in disguise that I didn't find No One there. I don't know how well that would have gone. There's a Wisp relocate. There's the Aegis. They're fighting basically into the enemy high ground. That is the kind of place where Disruptor can have a really great time, and the mag. So maybe not too bad for IG that doesn't happen. They will be pushing the bottom tower. They're actually just pushing into a team that has the Aegis advantage and a super farm TA. So IG
jump forward here. Like XXS does catch the Disruptor. Sees a shot from No One. A lot of Remnants being used there by OP. He dives in deep. Is going to be caught by an RP. He does have a Remnant out, but to see if they can burst him down in time. They do. They bring him down. The Static Storm laid out. Does manage to catch Burning, but Burning lays his hands on 2. He gets the Disruptor and brings down the Aegis on the right-hand side. Rance uses Omni Slash. He's going to be chasing down Q. Should be able to pick up that support. XXS turns around. Managed to get 3-man Burrow Strike. What a huge play with a buyback on OP. They provide a turnaround, and maybe they can win this fight. No One dropping down fast, but he does manage to bring down Burning. OP will lay claim to that kill, though. It's a big one, too. A wicked 6 streak. 825 gold for the kill
Warlock.
on No One. For the Warlock. Sick.
It's actually good for IG that Warlock gets that kill. OP had buyback penalty, so it's a lot more gold going their way than if OG, yep, what's his name? IG OP, oh.
Okay, Ramses, what are you doing here?
That is not good news for VP, and a relocate in as well.
Oh, boy.
They kind of lost a fairly big fight there. It's not the end of the world because of the buyback on Ember being fairly expensive, but IG showing what their lineup can do.
That was...
And the first stun from XXS didn't look too good, but...
Yeah, that was quite questionable. The fact he gets off the Remnant, he makes that call. I buy back. We can actually fight this one out, and it was such a sick play by XXS.
He's holding this buyback a long time, basically baiting VP in to commit here, and now XXS gets a very good turnaround stun.
He makes the call, a 3-man burrow strike with OP right there with Sleight of Fist double kill.
Oh,
And
that's why they didn't get more gold out of that fight. OP got the double kill after buyback.
Oh, yeah.
Not as much gold bounty going his way.
If only Burning could have
Still?
survived through all that.
Still a significant win for IG, regardless. That was a fight into Aegis. Next time could be a lot easier unless no one manages to pick up either a BKB or what looks to be a Pike first off. Great item against both Ricky and Ember. Just need to try to get away when they look to engage, especially the smoke screen is a big deal for him. And of course gives him the flexibility of using it aggressively as well. Blink into Pike could kill off a hero like the Warlock pretty easily. Could force Ember to defensively Remnant out. Or basically follow up on any stun. If they get an RP, he has a kill now with TA. That attack speed is very important to find picks.
BKB next up for our Sven. XXS trying to build into a Yule Scepter. So that team fight did get them into closing in on some of those mid-game items that are necessary for their heroes to be...
This is dangerous for VP. This could go very, very wrong. IG are actually in a great position here. Bobica just outside range of the sentry. Actually does get spotted, though.
They get the Thunder Strike on him. They can't glimpse him back, but they do have some general vision of where he's going.
IG with the counter.
Oh, the smoke, and they're immediately going to go back in. Bobica's going to scout out. Ramsey's here. They're going to get the stun out. No, they actually get the Omni Slash down first. The RP goes down on Burning. They're throwing everything they have, and Q can't actually counter-initiate because he's stuck inside the Static Storm. Maybe OP can still fight this one out, though, with Chaotic offering over the top. Can he chase down some of these heroes? They've killed one. Here comes XXS. Managed to get the double stun with the Disruptor dropping low. Can they kill Ramsey's not quite fast enough. The Chaotic offering Golem will manage to take it, though. XXS, no one. He's just going to be able to clean up hero after hero. Looks like is Q unable to make the TP out. They claim 4 on the side of IG. A very big fight, and I can't believe Soul lived through all of that. Jesus.
Huge Static Storm. And I'm saying that it only hit a Warlock,
It only hit a Warlock, but
that was the best possible play in that moment for him. If he doesn't get that Static Storm down and the Golem counter engages, it gets scared of his Sven. They even disjoint the Sven stun with the Omni Slash, so that also doesn't hit. And I think Burning, did he get the Warcry off there? He took so much damage from Ramses in that Omni Slash. He doesn't have the Diffusal yet. Burning got hit really hard. Let's have a look at this.
Let's see. It's
he gets RP'd.
Yeah.
I don't think Warcry is running right now. Now he gets it off. He's almost dead. Quick RP from Pasha. They're making a big difference. And now finally the Golem comes down, but the damage is already kind of done from VP. Good Epicenter.
It all starts off.
How does Solo not die here?
Yeah, I know. He was right on top of that Epicenter. But
stick charges.
Stick charges are a blessing. And then as a result, he gets to glimpse back Q. Gets that extra kill. Top lane, XXS. He's going to be glimpsed back here. Has the Burrow Strike. Got to time it right. Or the Blink. That'll also work. VP still going to just group up here. Feeling very good about themselves. They know Chaotic Offering is still on cooldown.
And they push very fast. This TA and Juggernaut is a great tower sieging duo. When they don't have to be scared of getting jumped, as you said, by the Golem. Claiming it. Now, Diffusal Blade has been purchased up by Bobica. This is generally a turning point in a lot of IG's games, is when Bobica is really starting to shine. He's had a very good game on Ricky so far. 0 deaths to his name, 3-0 and 6. And with this Diffusal Blade, I think now that the job of Ricky is to either mess completely with IO or Disruptor. Just get one of these key supports out of the fight immediately, and it can completely turn on its head. I think right now, the prioritized target should probably be Solo. Most of the time I like going on the IO for these Invis heroes that can sneak up behind, but Solo seems to be having so high impact in these fights that just forcing him to use Static Storm on the Ricky might be good enough.
Yeah, especially since you don't have BKB on your course yet.
Counter warding. See ya.
Bobica finds his first kill with the Diffusal Blade.
Slight chains into Ricky is nasty.
I feel like you said Bobica early on stood out to me. He was kind of having quieter game. I felt like he was playing a little bit more farmy than he usually does on his 4 position. You think that's in reaction to what happened in game 1? It seemed like he stalled out quite a bit trying to scout and be aggressive.
I think it's also in reaction to what happened early on in the game. It just seemed like the aggressive plays weren't working out exactly the way they wanted, and that's when you need to make sure you don't become a walking creep.
Yeah.
Basically, as Ricky. Ricky can be a pretty bad hero with absolutely no items whatsoever. And Bobuka, arguably the master of this hero, so knows the in and outs and what the limitations are. And I do agree with his decision to take a bit of farm in this game on the Ricky when he did. It's only 24 CS, and most importantly for him, he hasn't died. That's the reason why we're seeing the itemization come in from him. So
our BKBs have been picked up. Burning, as well as No One. Both have their magic immunity item.
His BKB on Burning is actually not that useful.
Yeah, considering the last time he died to RP and Omni Slash.
Yeah.
BKB won't save you from that.
It protects him from Diffusal, so he can keep his Warcry on. That's actually fairly important. And of course, Static Storm, but I don't really think they want to Static Storm the Sven most of the time anyway. They want to catch the back line. Okay, IG want to fight here. No one jumps in.
No one. He pops BKB, immediately trying to threaten OP, but they're going to go on to the back line here. Static Storm actually getting to get the relocate out. Great plays by the two supports of VP, but Burning is still large and in charge. He does have the BKB. No, he's going to get RP'd and Omni Slash, that combination we just talked about. He dies to it immediately. 3 down for the side of IG. Virtus.pro pop out of the pit. It was already a win to be able to take that Aegis, but now they win a team fight. Look to be able to push to tier 2.
Key thing there for Virtus.pro is that they forced Warlock out of the fight and just slaughter him. He didn't get Golem off, didn't get Fatal Bonds off, I think even. Absolutely zero impact on that fight out of Q. Makes a very big difference. And Bobuka had so much impact there, but he can't offset the disadvantage of Warlock simply not getting his spells off, even with these great plays. And VP, it seems like whenever they get this TA on No One, there is a tendency to him getting absolutely out of control. 12-1, 19,000.
Whoa, that maybe not the blink forward. He gets caught by the skewer. Ramses doesn't have the Magnus bus. He has the spin, but they're going to try and catch him. Nice, they got him. The spirits from Lil actually catches Bobuka. IG, they've made yet another mistake, and it's going to cost them too. VP, they're actually cycling up to push high ground, it seems.
This could be a bit overconfident. Pasha isn't there yet, doesn't have RP either. OP will. Oh, okay. Think twice about that.
No one. Disjoint there on the Stormbolt. Solar Crest, as well as high ground advantage here, doing a lot of work. No one just can't seem to hit anybody. It's a nice pickup from that Warlock, and they're going to need every bit of those misses because No One is so
Blink
large.
skewer on the Warlock here, maybe. It is a possibility for Pasha.
They managed to get the chains, burning through the refraction, but he still has the BKB right as the Burrow Strike comes in. Nicely played out. Now the skewer back, burning. He has to fight this one out because he's too deep on the enemy's side. He starts making his way backwards, though. No One threatening his life. Bobuka throws out an ultimate, kind of ineffective. IG. Seems like that skirmish is going to kind of scare VP back.
Great disengage. That fight could have gone very scary for VP. They force out the Sven BKB, they force out his ulti. They know Ricky is back to life, Warlock Golem is still online, and they just don't give anything away to this IG squad that's really hungry for kills. If they can kill the TA, that's such a big gold swing that they might be able to bring the game back almost in their favor. The 7,500 gold advantage that VP have is basically the TA. So still have to be careful, VP, with their over-aggression, and they have improved a lot as a team in that regard. They do it very rarely, go for these bad dives. We saw a bit of a glimpse of it yesterday, but they immediately got that game back under control and eventually won.
He's sitting on over 700 GPM right now.
Yeah, Templar Assassin, good hero.
And when it goes
Sometimes
off,
not as good hero.
it really goes off.
Yeah. It seems to me that in this tournament so far, TA either gets destroyed in lane or owns.
Yeah.
Those have kind of been the two options most of the time for this hero.
Solo sprinting forward, lays down a sentry, immediately going to be countered by IG. Oh, they're going to jump out here, going for the disruptive, but he managed to get out the Static Storm. That's controlling OP. He may die from this one. The RP gets both cores. Nice setup. The Chaotic Offering will try and respond, but it's not going to be enough as No One pops BKB and just runs through those cores, and he'll take a support too in the back line. Solar Crest does a lot to be able to prevent him from dying, and now on the second life, they're actually going to be able to catch No One inside the base. Can he get out of here, though? XXS doesn't have the Burrow Strike to immediately stun him, so No One is going to be able to blink away. Nothing to stop him there. And if
Epicenter.
IG are not careful, here comes that Epicenter. They managed to get the stun out. Force that forward. They get a little bit more distance away from Burning, and that's critical. They need no one to be able to survive through all of this one. He's turning, tries to go for XXS, but there is no detection here. XXS coming up with another forward strike. Managed to get the 2-man stun. Nice blink set up there. They're going to be able to take no one. Maybe they can catch Ramses too. Ramses turns around, but an instant sandstorm is going to protect his life. XXS. He caught that opening so many times there. Great burrow strikes, a great Epicenter, even against Virtus.pro's counterplays.
Did cost them a Sven buyback though, so it doesn't come free, but they hold their tower even. It wasn't just the barracks they defended the tower. So no shrines available to be claimed for VP right now. This 1 minute downtime on TA is going to mean that this upswing in the graph that we're going to see momentarily is going to be a bit bigger than it looks. There's a lot of farm being lost right now that IG can just steal for themselves. They will, in addition to that, more than likely be able to claim this tier 2 mid tower.
Looks
IG
like
did seem a little bit indecisive though. This fight wasn't that crisp once again. They're a little bit all over the place with whether to go in or not. And the RP, on the other hand, I feel like when you watch VP, they go. They are all on the same page, very swift in their decisions. Sometimes they're not ideal, but a lot of the times making a suboptimal decision together is better than having 3 good ideas and playing them all half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something about the leadership that Burning and Q brought to the team that they just seem to always operate as a unit. Somebody makes the call, they all go in on it. There's no hesitation.
It's not exactly the same as we saw earlier from IG. I wonder what the reasoning is, if they're starting to get a little bit nervous or if they're a bit uncomfortable, but they have all of their key picks, so you would think that at this point they would be super crisp, just as VP are. And VP are picking a lot of different heroes and just seem very comfortable in every single game with what they're doing. Maybe.
Is it something about VP's playstyle, do you think, that makes IG uncomfortable? I mean, I think
be.
they were definitely uncomfortable with the way game 1 was going. You know, with the way they were like, wait, they're not pushing into us? Like, we don't get that opportunity to have a defensive team fight, and they just kind of like farming. And IG, man, they were the ones at DAC kind of determining how to play out the meta, and they were making other teams look uncomfortable in their playstyle. But here, at the Kiev Major, this may be where they falter.
This Riki is getting extremely big. It's actually a very big problem for VP. If they don't catch the Riki in the RP, I feel like Boboka more than anyone has kept IG in the game. His teamfight mobility, his ability to single out these supports make the fights a bit awkward for VP, which is why it's twice as impressive that they're doing as much as they are. Playing a Disruptor in this game, for example, with this limited itemization is extremely difficult. It's not easy to play the IO either. You do have a pipe, though, that gives you a bit of a buffer. But Riki kills these supports very quickly. Now he has the Basher and is building toward an Echo Saber. At that point,
mini Monkey King here.
You blink strike one of the supports, you get 2 immediate hits in. If one of them is a bash, they die, more or less. He can do this 1,000 burst damage, pretty much guaranteed.
XXS.
This is a good position from him. If he's not spotted by the trap, else they would be going on him. I'm trying to set up a condition to take a fight up here. VP aren't taking the bait though, or maybe they are, but they are actually smoking away from the Sand King, and he can't connect without a TP. All right, it looks like a good read.
Yeah, he is going to make the TP here. Boboka's going to pop this, but Pasha is going to front line. They actually have the counter vision to be able to spot him. If they can stop this RP, it'd be huge. They can't offer, but a save. Maybe it's not enough though. He's got the Fatal Bonds on it. They've already killed the Juggernaut though, and it looks like just a sliver of HP. Pasha may survive thanks to Lil's excellent plays. Lil, of course, Sacrificial Lamb, is going to relocate right back to his death. So IG, as you said, excellent reads. XXS TPing back was perfect timing.
That was actually such a sick save from Lil once again. These relocates are really, really fast, reminding me of some Highlight Eye plays we've seen in the past with almost casting. You know, there was this tournament where one team was playing Batrider a lot and Pai was playing against it with IO, and it seemed like he started relocate before the lasso began. They were just expecting, all right, the lasso is coming in 1 second, so I'm already going to be pre-channeling my relocate. It's giving me some flashbacks to that. Lil is very quick here, but as you said, they do save the mag, but it's going to cost them their Juggernaut. That is a big kill. Tier 2 tower will fall here. Last hit goes to Boboka. He really needs some gold here. Very poor Riki. Good to give him that last hit. What is he building with this Blade of Alacrity? He hasn't quick by actually.
Yeah, what happened to the
might have changed his mind. Going Yasha maybe? Not sure.
as it is. Either way, he's going to have a very large impact in these fights. You could see how, I mean, you're looking at cores like Juggernaut and Templar Assassin. They are strong early to mid-game heroes, but as the game goes later, you can see how quick they fall when they're actually being initiated on.
Yes. There is still a lot of precise execution required out of VP's lineup. I think the reason, once again, the reason they're in this good of a position is that their first 20 minutes were just phenomenal. Been playing really, really well.
Kind of goes back to the way you described the draft, right? Is that you just felt really good about the way IG look, and it looks like one of those drafts that is perhaps easier to play in that regard, right? You said very precise is needed from VP.
That's what they gave us, but just you can see some of the problems that they can run into in these fights is that if it's not exactly there, if the mag gets jumped, I think it's difficult to play VP's lineup. So far, Pasha's done an excellent job at not getting jumped, but that time they caught him. That pretty much gave them a free fight. Gem on Ricky will be scouting, trying to find some information. He did end up settling for Blink Dagger on the Ricky. I really like this choice. I actually thought that was going to be Boboka's first go-to in this situation.
With the Diffusal into Blink. Yeah.
Either Diffusal into Blink or Diffusal Basher into Blink. Because I think at this point the call from IG is, Boboka, with this Gem and this Blink Dagger, find mag. That's the only thing we need out of you, more or less. If you can find mag, jump him, and not get immediately killed, we're going to set up the rest right after. And I think that's the best approach as well. It's the most likely way to succeed. Solo, oh, the stun's going to miss.
Doesn't quite catch him here. Solo is actually going to just go for the hold here with the kinetic field, but he's going to be jumped on by Boboka. Yeah, friendly force staff does help him out here. Boboka, he's going to be caught. Goes down. They're going to fight this one out. Burning. He immediately goes for Ramses, but a relocate save is out. Now the RP, but a two-man burrow strike. XXS opens with this one up immediately. The Omni Slash bounce around, goes to OP. OP going to be locked down by a bash. Can't jump away. Now Ramses jumps forward. Actually gets another bash there onto Q. Well, the stun onto no one. Is that going to prevent him from finishing off Burning? One long-range shot, another one coming in, and it is enough to finish him off. If he had just gotten to those trees, then maybe Burning could have survived off the Blink, but he goes down. No one. He wants to force those buybacks. He gets the tier 3. He's forced a buyback from OP. Is he going to stick around for long, though? Turns around Bloodthorn onto the Sand King. Dual Scepter is out, and he's immediately going to be perched down. Nice play by Ramses to get the quick kill on the offlaner. OP, he's by himself now against the 3-man of Virtus.pro.
This could actually just flat out be the end of this game. There's no buybacks. VP push extremely fast with these heroes. At the very least for IG, there's no empower. But that doesn't matter when your TA has 30,000 net worth. She hits really hard and really fast on this. It's at the very least 2 lanes of barracks. No way they can teamfight this without their Sand King. And VP, again, the key in this fight. Mag doesn't get spotted, he doesn't get found out, and Ricky dies before getting the ultimate off. Really wanted to use that Blink Strike, but didn't follow through with the tricks of the trade.
Fortunately for IG, the tier 2 is still up, but VP, plan B. You can't go up to the top lane, start pecking at some of those tier 4s. They're going to play it safe, though. They've got a huge win now. 2 lanes of racks down. And shrines available, ready for the taking. IG have no buybacks to work with in the foreseeable future, so if they actually get this Roshan, they get the Aegis, they force the fight in the next few minutes, they can feel very comfortable that IG just will not have the same kind of high ground defense.
Pasha could win the game here.
Pasha, CC is opening for the skewer, doesn't quite have the RP.
Cooldown on RP.
They do have Boboka though, Bloodthorned up, outside of vision. He'll be okay.
If Pasha had RP there, that might have been an RP on the Ember, and that would have been pretty much the end of the game. So scary stuff here for IG. Are we going to see a smoke? Yep, Q is waiting for it to come out of backpack cooldown. And they will try to make what kind of is a one last hurrah. If this fight fails, they will lose Roshan and probably the game. Maybe not even Roshan. VP could just go for GG. So tense moment. VP holding the high ground, as they should. Trying to get a favorable fighting position.
You should definitely know this is coming with mid pushing in, and they've got a base ward as well.
And they have a shrine. Thanks for that, Mars OB. Good to know.
Burning.
100% health on that one. Here we go.
God strength. Nope, the jump in. Whoa, what a 3-man burrow strike. OP is immediately going to jump onto that one. The disruptor's gone, but an RP comes out from Pasha. Locking down 2. No one's actually getting the side plates on both of them. He's killed OP. Can he kill Burning? The sun comes out. No, he can't finish off the big carry of IG, but he does have to retreat. Ramses, the buyback from the Templar Assassin means this fight is over. IG are just going to lose some members here, and they are going to be able to claim Roshan for the side of Virtus.pro. But they didn't get the Sven, and that means that IG, maybe they have one more fight in them. Maybe.
If VP could see the buyback status right now, they would go straight down mid, I think. They're going to play it safer, looking for the mega push.
They're just going to
a
drop
full
these
minute
buildings
on
so
Ember,
fast.
40 seconds on Ricky. Warlock has buyback, but no golem.
Even the Riki is not going to be up in time for this high ground push. I don't know how XXS and Burning could possibly combo up to stop this push by themselves. They're going to try the tier 3 dropping fast. XXS waiting for his opening, doesn't really see it. The skewer back onto Burning. Well, they couldn't afford to be initiated on. They get the force snap BKB used by Burning, and that is going to be Mega Creeps. So if IG, if they're not going to call GG now, they apparently going to play this out to the bitter late game, but they're losing tier 4s now. The Riki's back up. The Warlock, 4 seconds, still no chaotic offering. Tier 4 dropping fast. Bobico goes to the back line, immediately Bloodthorn isn't going to be able to get off his ultimate. The epicenter goes down, but it's ineffective. Lil is going to be able to get himself away. They managed to kill Pasha, but it's a fair trade-off so far.
If they catch no one here, he does not have buyback, but relocate. They need to make sure no one doesn't die twice here. That could have been a disaster.
Now their heroes just aren't following XXS in. He's following all by himself. He's not careful. He actually died to Ramses to get fast. He does have a buyback. But the rest of IG were just too far away. So now the long, hard hold begins for IG against Mega Creeps.
And still an Aegis as well.
Yeah.
VP could just chill here and wait until the TA has buyback. But if all the lanes are pushed into the enemy base, even if TA dies without buyback, I don't know if 2 minutes will be enough for IG to even get anything meaningful. It takes them very long to push out these waves. Look, this is the Sven. He's struggling to kill a creep wave minute 40.
He still doesn't have that Assault Cuirass.
He's going to buy it now. But VP, man, they look so good in this series.
Yeah.
They're playing the best they ever have as a team. I've watched a lot of their games, and this might be the peak.
No one
this roster.
setting up a trap here. Burrow strike onto the illusions, though. No one will abandon his setup. They actually caught Ramses here on the side. Bloodthorn on Bobica will prevent his pursuit. And high ground hold for VP. I mean, if IG are going to force themselves into this push, this potential last hurrah, I mean, I guess they're just playing off the fact that Templar Assassin does not have buyback.
Yeah, it's the only play they have, is to try to set up a fight. Meanwhile, fortunately for them, they do have an Ember Spirit, great hero at defending the base and being able to join the fight at the same time. It's only a scan from VP, they know what's up. Just chill. VP have all the time in the world right now. IG will eventually back off and start defending their base with more heroes.
They're going to have an Abyssal Blade soon for Ramses, so they're going to have another form of hard initiation to rely on.
Oh, nobody wants the gem? No?
Apparently
okay, that's fine. Just, oh, there's a gem, it says IG. They saw it with their own ward. They're like, huh.
Is Bobica going to sneak in there? Slide into gem?
It looks like it. All right.
It's all a trap.
Thanks, VP. That was weird. Oh, okay. I mean, sometimes you don't see the gem, but they literally walked past it with 5 heroes. They just ran on top of it. Didn't want it.
5
Style
heroes
points.
smoked up from Virtus.pro. They don't need these shiny baubles. Their eyes are focused on that Aegis. They're going to get the RP. They don't need much. Nice Force Staff usage there. Skewer misses, and Burning's actually going to pursue, but he jumps into a world of hurt. He just gets Omni Slash. The chaotic offering is dropped down, but Burning's already so low, and he will die to no one. No buyback there. XXS stop inside the Kinetic Field Static Storm combination. OP pulled back to his doom. He has to jump away to the Remnant, but it doesn't matter if your throne's going to die, so IG call it. What a sweep from Virtus.pro.
If you asked me going into this series what I thought the least likely outcome was, result-wise, this would have been my pick. I really thought IG were going to look stronger than this. I thought they would. I would have picked them to win the series. I would have probably picked maybe 2-1 as the most likely result for them, or 2-1 for VP, but this was way more one-sided than I would have thought, and that's got to be scary. Whoever's going to face this team in the Grand Finals have got their work cut out for them. It's not just that VP are playing so well and that they're making all these good moves and coordinated as a team. They have a really big hero pool. They're a very difficult team to draft against. They have all of the qualities you're looking for in a team. Great individual skills, great team plays, great drafting, great preparation for their opponents. They knew exactly what they wanted and they got it.
It's been
They
the
are my favorites
storyline.
now for the tournament, regardless of what happens in the next series. I think no one can top this and looking scary in my eyes.
It's been the storyline, Sin, for quite a long time, at least the last few years for the CIS region, that they've oftentimes peaked out at bad times.
Yeah.
You know, where, you know, leading into TI, we saw, like, for example, Team Empires of the past, you know, multiple times, hey, they look kind of good, and then TI, they just don't show up here. The last time VP looked good was leading into Boston, right? But finally, it seems like Virtus.pro, they're going to actually peak out at the right time here. They're going to be heading to the grand finals of the Kiev Major. The analysts, I'm not sure if they could have predicted a 2-0 to the favor of VP. I know we didn't. I'm sure they have a lot to say about this.
They've already removed 2 of Virtus.pro's top 3 picks at the Kiev Major in the bans. The other one is Magnus, which they picked. Where do IG go next?
If I was IG, I would probably pick my carry here. I mean, it's a bit iffy versus VP because the Magnus could still be offlane. Could still be mid, but they go back for the Boca Ricky.
Yeah.
To be honest, the fact they're picking teamfight and they're like still confident, even though the Ricky lost, he didn't have that much impact. I think it's a pretty good mentality coming in from IG this game. They're not scared. They're not. They think they've identified their weakness and they think they know how to solve it. That's always a good thing. I think VP picks their support that counters the Ricky's presence on the map. Generally, last game they had the Spirit Breaker for that. Generally, you can pick anything that can sort of have a mobility spell and a dust in the early game. So if Ricky shows somewhere, you can come in from fog, dust him, and get the kill. Disruptor's another good one. Disruptor's not the Ricky counter pick actually. It'll be their next hero, but still a solid VP hero. I think they've been running this hero since their inception. These 5 players, and they're. I want to say they're the best team at running it. They've always made that Disruptor look scary. To be honest, CIS teams have made Disruptor look scary for like the last 3 years. It's like a CIS classic.
They used to run it all the time with the Slada. Like that was back when Slada was more an offlaner, but
yeah,
they used the vision with the glimpse incredibly well.
I mean,
the team fight combo.
And we saw yesterday against VGJ how strong that hero was. You know, we talk about team fight. He brings team fight and pick off, which is kind of one of those unique things. Just got to make sure you get levels on him.
Sven against Jug. Warcry, try and tank your way through an Omni Slash. Tank your way through his damage output.
It's honestly a weird matchup, just because Sven is good against Jug in a lot of ways, but Juggernaut's also a hero where if you get to the Diffusal, you can purge off this Warcry, and then Sven becomes very vulnerable. Traditionally, it's been Sven favored. I'm sure where that Magnus is going. I like the sniper ban from IG. Look at pub win rates. I know I'd say it a lot, and people probably go like, "Who cares about pubs?" But honestly, like pub win rates with a high sample size are largely more indicative of how strong hero matchups are in pro games.
You think looking at like the highest level gameplay there and the highest level ranked pubs is like where you're going to get the best indication on what heroes are going to be strong in this meta?
I mean, I think like it'll probably start like 5K. They'll have like a good enough basic idea of how hero matchups go, like so it's good enough for me. I've rarely found them to be wrong. There are some heroes where it's a bit weird. I think VP. I was gonna say the sniper pick is one of the highest against Sven, just because he stands so far back. He's hitting a Sven with a Scotty. It's really hard to jump him.
You do jump him, he like pikes away maybe even.
Yeah, you got the Disruptor to help you keep up, and then just Magnus can come in and initiate. Lots of different options.
I'd like to see a tower hitter out of VP this game. I think it's a little bit hard for Juggernaut to hit tower.
There's that TA.
Good pick. Very good versus Sven. I think he's up there as well. It's good against Sven for multiple reasons. It's a hero that you can't burst with your jump, blink, Stormbolt, ulti. He also, the biggest reason though is I think the traps. You'll put traps on Sven's Ancients. You can see when Sven wants to do those stacks. You can counter him there. And to be honest, you can out-farm a Sven. He's one of the few heroes that does that. We saw Noah with 200 CS at 20 minutes last time, so.
They are 2 out of 2 with TA, 2 out of 2 with the Wisp, and 5 out of 5 with the Magnus Virtus.pro. That's a scary VP lineup.
I think this is the mid IG likely kind of prioritize and wanted. That's why they banned the sniper over the TA, probably because they thought they could get a good matchup with the Ember. But still a tough one.
Very tough. Also tough is predictions.
Yes.
Makes it a lot harder with that draft, doesn't it?
I can go first if you want.
Sure.
I like it. A volunteer steps up.
I think VP are going to dismantle IG this game. I think what's going to happen is Ricky's
Gone through first phase ban, phase picks in record time. Hope Nahaz is keeping an eye on how quickly these picks have been done. He can come up with some averages or something. I'm sure Virtus.pro have broken all of them. But the ban's causing some grief for IG here, gods.
Yeah, I wonder whether they're probably deciding which kind of player to maybe focus some of their bans on. Are there any like worrisome mids, or do you want to maybe target Lil perhaps with some of his 4 position heroes? But the CM probably one of the heroes that stands out. CM Jug, they got Phoenix, so they do target some of the supports.
I honestly feel like they went behind the stage after their loss and they're like, team fight, guys. Team fight. If we cannot team fight, we cannot win.
Yeah.
So VP with
Pick
the
good team fight.
Insta axe ban.
That's the Jug counter pick in a lot of ways.
Fairly good versus Magnus too. You get the call off with the Blade Mill versus Empower, basically doing 50% extra damage.
Yeah. And banning that Phoenix out, they saw how strong that was last game. It looks like they don't want to face it again. I don't know if Lil played particularly well or had a huge impact just because like so many other heroes did so much, but you know, they're definitely looking out for that big team fight presence.
To be honest, I think Lil did everything he could that game. Like I thought in particular, I want to give him a shout out for his item build because he went pipe on Phoenix, which is very irregular, but it was perfect that game. They even went Grease on Madness. They managed to identify that IG lacked damage, and when you identify those things in the game, it sort of shows how they're thinking, how to what we can expect out of them. They're adapting to the enemy in the game, and that's always a good sign.
Another support band out. CM gone.
I think it's a good ban. Magnus was disgustingly overpowered at DAC. CM makes him the same hero he was at DAC. It's just a mana nurse. I don't think the BAT really mattered. So also roots are good for Sand King, and I think it's underrated to like just have an attack speed slow against the Warlock, because that Golem does a lot of damage, and if you get like the Nova and the Crystal Maiden ulti on it, you're reducing its damage by 80%. Wall vacuum, but I mean, I think they at least showed a framework for how you can try to play against VP. I think IG need to follow that.
Alright, let's see what they do in game number 2. Draft is up and running, and it's Virtus.pro with first pick again.
Interesting.
I mean, it's to pick Magnus.
Darkseid's in pool. I think IG should take it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised VP went for the Magnus, to be honest. I thought they were going to first pick Darkseid for sure. I guess it's because I think
it's a block pick as well, you know? It's like they take Darkseid and then IG get the Magnus, whereas they probably throw it in their head. We can take Magnus and they'll take Omni, and that's good for us.
I think part of it is that Slaughter's also banned, and that's our favorite combo with the...
Warlock's a great team fight. I mean, that helps you do a lot.
I think IG has identified the weakness. We'll see a lot better game out of them. I also think I was way too hasty in saying they should pick Darkseid, because I think they are assuming VP won't pick it now because they have the Magnus. That being said, no one does play the Magnus mid. He plays it very, very well.
Yep.
And maybe IG feel like they could sneak in the second phase too. It's not bad to have like Sand King Darkseid. It's a good VAC combo.
Oh, they used one reserve time second this time. Just one.
This draft seems flipped a bit, huh?
Yeah, I was about to say this looks like an IG draft. This Magnus Juggernaut strong combo that we've seen IG play at XXS, Burning. Those two guys just play those heroes so well.
Yeah. On the other hand, it is also... You see, the thing about these two teams is I think VP has like the lowest games and IG has the most games. Because VP has like a few games, but there's some Captain's Draft tournament, which, I mean, the tournament's fun and it's fun to watch, but it's not the same as Captain's Mode.
Yeah. Their only real tournament was the qualifiers.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. Like their internet went out for JC, so you don't even have that information. And I like Juggernaut because when you play against Sand King, the way that Sand King wins the lane is like a war of attrition. He just keeps caustic the wave, pushing it in. If you cannot apply some kill throw on the hero, he is going to win the lane and pressure you hard. Juggernaut has Blade Fury, one of the best spells at killing him. And he also has Healing Ward, which mitigates a lot of the damage from Warlock and Sand King in the fights. It's just a solid pick.
So once again,
I think with the Magnus, it actually becomes not bad for Juggernaut at all. You get the Skadi, you also can also just like lock down the Sven. But IG clearly have an idea with the Sven, and they had to pick something that wasn't too vulnerable to other heroes because they want to prepare for this last pick mid, get something that wins them the game here. They just need a solid hero for their one position.
Nothing new from Virtus.pro this time around. They had 3 brand new non-played heroes in the first draft that they hadn't played in Kiev, which takes their total to 34 different heroes played.
I wonder if there's a specific mid they really value, like the TA is the first that comes to mind because of how effective it's been, that they just want to pick now and prevent it getting banned.
On VP?
Yeah, VP.
Oh, okay. I think they're...
I mean, it doesn't really... Like
Yeah,
here,
as
you may as well
yeah.
pick your mid now so it doesn't
As
get banned.
first pick, it's like you pick whatever hero you think will get banned as your 4th hero because the bans are next, and then you have to pick out of the phase anyway, so they're going to counterpick you.
So you could get the Spirit Break if you valued it more, but...
Yeah, exactly. So I think they're deciding, do we have more than one Ricky counter? Wisp is actually a Ricky counter. He's one of those heroes who can tether in and carry a dust, and it's very scary for Ricky. Because he also heals up the hero. So like you can be on a Disruptor. Disruptor is 5 HP, Wisp tethers in, heals him up, and suddenly you're the one who's dying.
Feels like IG don't like playing against the Wisp either.
It's a very annoying hero to play against, even when you don't think a team can run it that well, and VP can run it extremely well. So it just changes how the game's played. I expect a Tinker ban out from VP. I think that's a hero that sort of ties out IG's lineup together.
And it's the OP's, I think, most played hero, like in pubs
Oh, really?
and stuff.
Wow.
He does play a phenomenal Tinker. So.
Just on the back of while we wait for these last 2 bans in the round, VP are now 5 for 5 with Magnus at the Kiev Major.
Pretty good hero.
This
They
is
do run it
game
well.
6.
And they have additional value on the hero just because they run it in multiple roles. We're approaching their 5th pick, and we don't know